Hey everyone, it's Patrick from Oakland Travel, and today I'm going to give you my honest review of the Royal Caribbean ship Harmony of the Seas. On Sunday, May 15th, 2022, we boarded the Harmony of the Seas in Port Canaveral, Florida for a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise with port stops at Perfect Day CocoCay, Charlotte Amalie St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Basseterre St. Kitts. During the cruise, I took notes as things would come up or if I ran into something I wanted to call out during the review. This review will cover the areas of the ship or aspects of the cruise we interacted with. For example, we only visited Deck 4 for a couple of minutes to record video, so I have no opinion on any of the entertainment venues on that entire deck. Same for the casino. We never gamble, so we didn't even go in there. The review will be split into two sections, the hits and the misses, so let's get started. First up on the hits is the crew. As with every Royal Caribbean cruise I can remember, dating back to the first one in December 2005, the crew were amazing. We did learn from a head waiter one morning at breakfast that Royal Caribbean and the cruise industry at large are dealing with some staffing issues. On our cruise on the Harmony, he told us they were fully staffed, but a lot of experienced crew members left the fleet because of the 2020 shutdown and never returned, so some of the current crew members are inexperienced. While they lack experience, they excel in all the ways that make a cruise great, so we'll consider this one a hit. Number 2 on the list of hits is the cruise director. Jeffrey Arpin was our director, and he was very good overall, and we could easily hear and understand his announcements. Number 3 was Stateroom 6130 on the port side all the way forward. It was very nice and had a new and modern feel, plus it had plenty of power outlets, and if you've ever sailed on one of the older Royal Caribbean ships, you know how much of a plus that is. Number 4 is the main dining room. As we expected, the food in the MDR was always amazing. This was the first cruise in a while where we had breakfast in the MDR in addition to the nightly dinner. Our waiter Christopher and assistant waiter Zahir at table 620 on main dining room deck 4 were amazing and took great care of us. Number 5 on the list of hits is the perfect day at CocoCay. The private island is always awesome and we enjoyed a great lunch at the Chill Grill. There was one issue with CocoCay that we'll get into in the misses section, so this is both a hit and a miss. Number 6 was bottled water. Sometimes it's just the little things. The bottled water package we purchased pre-cruise contained actual plastic bottles with a cap instead of the 12-ounce aluminum cans we received on the Mariner of the Seas cruise in early 2022. Number 7 on the hits list is the 90s party. Next to the Rising Tide bar on the Promenade, they set up a big stage and had a huge 90s party on the Promenade. It was very entertaining, had a lot of dancing, a lot of interaction with the crowd, so that was kind of fun. And it was the first cruise that we'd ever seen them attempt a 90s party, so kind of new to us. Number 8 on the hits list was the 70s disco party. The Aqua Theater was the location for the party, and it was a lot of fun. Longtime Royal Caribbean cruisers that have seen the party on other ships will recognize the music and routine because it doesn't change, but it's still very enjoyable. And the final item on the hits list are the drink menus at each one of the bars. Each of the bars have an excellent selection of custom drinks on their menu, and we zeroed in on a few favorites throughout the cruise, such as the John Collins from the Schooner Bar, Chocolate Martini from the Trellis Bar, Cool as a Cucumber from the Rising Tide Bar, and on and on and on. And now we come to the list of misses. The first one on the list is Port Canaveral Cruise Terminal number 1. I'll state at the beginning that this process is controlled by Port Canaveral with some input from Royal Caribbean. With that being said, it's at the top of our misses list because it had an enormous negative impact on the start of our cruise. The process to enter the Terminal 1 building at Port Canaveral was a complete mess. We spent almost 2 hours in the heat in the garage in the most ridiculous line waiting to get up to the entrance to the terminal because only a few port employees were able to check our paperwork. All of the other port employees we passed in the line weren't really doing anything, just trying to direct people to the back of the line. Number 2 on the misses list is the Wi-Fi. For any longtime cruisers, this one will come as no surprise. The Wi-Fi was horrible. The most basic things take so much time, I could probably run down to Cafe Promenade for coffee while waiting for Google or Facebook to open in a new Chrome window. Ironically, my YouTube live streams worked pretty well, but literally everything else didn't. The Wi-Fi on the Harmony of the Seas seems like it's only capable of handling a few hundred guests instead of several thousand. I suggested to Royal Caribbean in the post-cruise survey that they should move to Starlink as soon as possible. Number 3 is Starbucks. This is a fairly small issue, but Starbucks on the boardwalk was missing signage on the doors for the entrance and exit, and the music was way too loud. On the plus side, it's just like Starbucks on land, so the coffee was very good. Number 4 on the misses list is the perfect day at CocoCay. The one negative for the private island was actually a pretty big one. If you happen to step off the ship around noon, get ready to wait for a while for a tram. For some unknown reason, only one tram was running to take people from the ship to the island. When I asked where the other trams were, the driver said they were all on break. I'm sorry, but for 8 hours that ship is in port at CocoCay, it needs to be full service on the trams given how long the walk is from the ship to the island. One of the members in our traveling party had limited mobility, so we had to wait for the tram because the long walk was out of the question. Number 5 is the MiniBites on deck 15. We ate lunch at MiniBites one day, but we were not really impressed. The selection was decent, but it seemed like the staff left some of the items out too long, so they were watery and stale. The burger toppings were noticeably absent, which was a little strange to me. Number 6 is Cafe Promenade. We were rather disappointed in the layout. There was one small display case with food, so most of the snack and food items found on other Royal Caribbean ships were missing. It's really just a place to get some coffee. Number 7 was room service availability. The room service menus to fill out and leave on the door were not in our stateroom, and when one of our traveling party wanted breakfast one morning and tried to call the room service extension, no one picked up. It just rang and rang and rang. Number 8 on the misses list is the Windjammer. It's rare for me to list the Windjammer in the misses section of a cruise review, but it was warranted on the Harmony of the Seas. It just needs a lot of help. If you ever see someone post photos of lines to get into the Windjammer on social media, it's because there are bottlenecks at both entrances, because only about 3 people at a time can wash their hands, and the motion sensors don't work very well, so it's difficult to get the water to come out. Some of the food wasn't prepared properly, and the overall breakfast experience was not as good as the Solarium Bistro. We only visited the Harmony of the Seas Windjammer a few times during the cruise because it just wasn't up to par. On our Royal Caribbean cruises in the past, we visited the Windjammer at least once a day during the cruise, no matter which ship. This is one area where the staffing issues became apparent. Number 9 was the Solarium Bistro. The only negative here had to do with the passengers. In my personal opinion, Royal Caribbean needs to go back to having the crew members serving the guests. In the Solarium Bistro, it just takes too long to sit there and wait for people to figure out how to put food on their plate. Number 10 is photography. This could be another instance of staffing issues. On the second formal night, there were not enough photographers, which resulted in long lines. One of the members in our traveling party wanted to get a solo picture taken, but gave up because of the massive lines at the few photography stations open that night. And the last item on the misses list is the Captain's Corner. This event needs to be held in the Royal Theater, where everyone will actually be quiet, and hopefully the sound guys can turn the microphones up where the audience can hear. On our cruise, they decided to hold this event at the Aqua Theater, and between the microphones being too low and the inconsiderate people talking around the back of the theater, it was hard to hear what was being said. And that's the list. We had a very nice cruise overall, but I would only give it a 7 out of 10. Between the start of this cruise and now, as I record this review, I've seen quite a few social media posts describing the incidents similar to the ones we experienced on this cruise that might mean Royal Caribbean increased their capacity a little too quickly in the spring of 2022. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed this review, you can show your support by hitting the like button. Let me know in the comments if you sailed on the Harmony in 2022 and what your experiences were like. And finally, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with the notification bell on. We recorded over 700 gigs of video on this cruise, so we'll have a new vlog episode every Friday.